there are some inherent advantages of the student sector because students come for a longer period. It's typically a 3-year client life cycle. Parents usually have bigger pockets, so typically in student housing, the rate per beds or charges per bed are typically higher than co-living. There is a premium on services and comfort, etc., that you can charge.
Both on the student housing side and the co-living side, we are seeing now enough traction out there, which gives us a huge boost of confidence. On the B2C side, like I mentioned, demand is coming back. I think there is no reason for us to think in any manner of pausing at this stage. So we are in expansion mode clearly. Similarly, on the B2B side, the kind of conversations and the deals that colleges are placing as trust in us gives us immense confidence for us to go out there and just keep growing.
We will be more or less looking to consolidate the market little more, and look also into entering new cities. There are certain cities which we had paused in the March, which we are planning to launch in March. Ahmedabad and Nagpur. There are a few other cities which we are planned to launch, but we'll be launching in August or September types. But hopefully, as Vijay said, we'll be able to meet budgeted numbers and the growth numbers that we intend by March 2021.
What is the market size of the organized sector, at which rate it is going, and the average revenue per bed and average margin per bed in the segment?
We don't have that kind of micro level data, but overall, see, the co-living market today is in India at least is pegged up close to about $4 to $5 billion, and is expected to grow to be about $10 to $12 billion by the 2025. I think depending on the model of each operator, the the parameters that we are talking of, the yields per bed or the revenue per tenant, all these things will be worked out. Currently, that kind of micro data is not being collected.
So if you think of developers like Puravankara or Embassy Group, they are already launching and they're already working in the co-living kind of format. So that's the kind of model that you'll see a lot of developers do in the near future.
Any of you have closed any of co-living centers in last 3 months?
Yes, we have. For example, say we are very, very focused on risk mitigation as a philosophy of the business. As I said, 75% of the business is hedged with a pure revenue share model or with PDB enterprise tax and all. And wherever we see that that particular equation does not hold through, we curtail our business. We feel that scaling can only happen logically with risk sharing across the spectrum. It cannot happen unilaterally if operators behave like asset owners and